hello there, guys and gals. It's another warm one today. I mean, like we had the 1800 BTU unit cranked up pretty good. Today, yep, we're going to officially mount and torque these heads the way you're supposed to, according to something I found online. And I wish I had enough guts like Sloppy Mechanics. That dude, man, he's good. And his motors run really good. So this one ought to run just as good because it's got his cam in it. Anyway, with your head gaskets, guys, I went with this particular brand here because, you know, they're gooder. And they say front. So I'm guessing that also means that's the upside of the head gasket. And I wanted to show you a certain thing before I drop these things in here. These, you're going to want these on there. Mine got stuck in the head. Make sure they're on there for the head gasket. If not, this thing slides up and down pretty far considering how much it's not supposed to move. Now, just sit right there. On these head gaskets, they're a multi-layer, and you don't have to do a darn thing to them except put them on the correct way. And well, she says front. That's the front. Done. All right, tune in next week. No, I'm just joking. So now we're gonna go get a helper, have him set the head on here for me, and we're gonna drop the bolts in, and I'll explain to you the torque procedure the correct way. And we actually will do it accordingly because we got a brand new tool from the Harboniza Freight. We got this Dr. Quinn torquage wrenches, and we're going to throw the torques to it, all that, and by Gersh today, she's going to start looking like a motor, okay? So give me a few minutes. I'm going to get the owner of the mobile junkyard down here and lift this head for me, and then we're going to throw some head bolts in there, torque him down, all right? All right, so we got the head thrown up on there, and you know, I like to thread them on there at least a thread or two. That way so I know they started good and solid. You'll notice on every one of the bolts, these ones have blue, these ones have an orange. I'm guessing that's a type of thread sealant. I used to put Indian head gasket sealer on all my head bolts because I never knew which one was going to go through a water jacket and I didn't want leaks. That being said, it already has some on there, so I didn't put any on. I reached out to a couple friends and they said I don't put spit on them except for a little stank on it. You know, so we're going to put as much stank on it as we can. Now, this is a Gen 4 head. And the reason and how I know it's a Gen 4 head, one is I compared the old head bolts to these head bolts, and I know that it come out of an 07 Chevy. I think 05 and up is probably Gen 3, maybe. And these bolts on the very outside are slightly shorter if you have a Gen 3. Yep, true story. Now, the way these things torque is you run them down to 22 foot-pounds at first. These actually torque at 22 foot-pound, period. But these, you run them all down to 22 foot-pounds, then you do a 90, and then a 70 on every single one of them. Now, if you have Gen 4, I believe the last round of these are 50 degrees, but just on these two outer bolts. Now, if you don't know how to torque down your head, start in the center, work your way out. See what I'm doing? I'm just enough to make it click. And I'm backing out. This will be my torque pattern as well. You hear how that one kind of struggled a little bit? It's because it has that sealant on it. So keep that in mind, guys and gals. That's definitely something to keep in mind. I'm just going to place that on the floor back there. Now we're going to get the ones on the upper. I'm just going to give them a little. Yep. Rounding that one right off. We'll just squeeze him under here then. Nope. Dang it. Okay. We'll move that bracket and then we'll torquelize it and do all that. But anyway, you can tighten those down afterwards. The main ones are these ones here. Okay. So we're going to set our new torque bar magic delivering thingy here. Let's see. This thing's actually not too bad. It's okay. It's different. You know what? Rather than have you guys stare at the floor and hear me gabble and gabble, I'm gonna set this thing up real quick and then I'll show you how I did it, okay? So give me a few minutes and then we'll start torquing. It's a warming. All right, so we got our gun torque in. We got him in at 23 because we're using an extension. I can't remember how much that really takes off. So we're just gonna give it a little more oomph, not a whole lot. And hopefully we can set you guys about right here. There's two different beeps that this Quinn type Carbonese freight thing makes. Now I just hold my hand here just to keep it stable, and I'm pulling with the right arm. You hear the solid? Unfortunately, this is not a very expensive one, so, you know. Okay, that one's good. So you just kind of play it by ear, so to speak. $22 foot-pounds is not a lot, guys and gals. But do you hear that? Well, you hear it do that little multi-ring, the little dee 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 dee. That means you're almost there. I know because I actually looked at the torque on it, and it wasn't quite at 23. It was like 18 or something like that. I think whenever it comes within 5 to 8 pounds, it starts doing that nice, non-annoying ring at all. So now we're going to switch him over to the degrees. This is the part to me that's a little annoying to this tool. You hit the M, let's see, and we want 90 degrees. So right there it is. Now we start them right here. This is why I like this, because it's doing the degrees. And if I need to go back, it kept my degrees. This is what beats that cheap thing that you get at all the other parts stores. See how it's doing that? 90 degrees. So, in order to get it back to a new 90 degrees, you have to hit the M button again. And it records it and resets that. So rather than you guys see me do this all over, I'm just going to go here. You see this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to set it to 70 degrees and repeat the process. All right? So give me a few minutes, knock this out, and we'll come right back. All right, guys, I'm gonna try this with the AC blowing. So I just completed my whole 10 pass there. Then I got her set to 70 degrees, okay? Now I was wrong, apparently, at least on the website I'm looking at, guys. That thing's dirty. Anyway, guys and gals, make sure I'm right on that, double check it, that's fine. If I'm not right, shoot it down there. But for these 5.3s and what I'm finding out, the 3rd gen LS, These are 50 degrees on the second pass. They're all 22. They're all 90 on the first pass, and then it goes 50, 50, and the rest of them are 90, except for these top ones up here. These are still 22 on the third gens and fourth gens. Now, on the fourth gen, all of these are 22 to start with, 90 degrees, 70 degrees, and these are 22 foot-pounds. So now I'm going to start my second round. I'm going to do it exact same way as I did the first. I'm going to start in the center, work my way out, okay? And you do that so the head gasket lays the more gooder or something. It's just the way I was taught, so that's the way I'm going to tell you fellers and fellates. All right, so give me a few minutes and we'll go through it again, all right? But it's the same thing. I just want to show you, okay? If I can get that thing on there. Again, you just torquelate it. Like I say, if you got the digital one, we're done with that particular bolt, not with all of them. But you got to do that for every single one. Like I said, I'm going to go. Just remember the order in which you're trying to do the head. Try to do both of them the same order. That way, so you don't actually have to remember it. It makes things a lot better, okay? So I'm going to wrap this one up, and then I'm going to show you guys another little trick, all right? So give me a few minutes and we'll do it to it. All right, so we just completed our final pass on all these. Now, what happens if you're not sure if you got a bolt, or if you kind of skipped it in one of these degrees? I have one like that, actually. I actually think I may have forgot to reset it on that one right there. Did I do it on purpose? We'll see. So there's a little trick. Thanks to Sloppy Mechanics doing this, I feel 100% comfortable doing this. Those guys know what the heck they're doing, okay? And I have to constantly give them credit. They rebuild with used head gaskets a lot and used head bolts. I bought new because I don't have that pair of kahunas on me yet. And what I'm getting at is they torqued theirs to 65 foot-pounds. They ran them down just like that with a electric gun, and then they torqued them to 65 foot-pounds and went around a couple times just to make sure. I am going to see roughly, he said it's close to, it's around 60 pounds generally. We're at 60 pounds before it starts to move. Now, this is the head bolt question. Can you see that? I forgot to torque that one all the way. I forgot to reset it with that M right there. I forgot to reset the darn thing after my 90-degree turn. I kind of thought that because it went like way too quick. So I'm gonna set it to right there. We're gonna call it. We're gonna check the rest of these before they move. See, that was at 60. Actually, we're going to go till this one hits 60. That'll make me feel more gooder. There we go. It's at 60. So I'm going to torque mine to 60 because that's what it's taken for these to move. And you just want to apply slow, steady pressure. Yeah. Some of them are around 57, 58. What have you. But if you do forget to do that, Sloppy Mechanics is using used bolts and they're torquing them to 65. I know it goes against what you're taught and what you're told, that you can't reuse head gaskets and that you can't reuse head bolts, because if you do, you're going to break and snap them and it's not worth it, right? I'm just saying, they're doing it and they're having success. So with brand, whew, that was shocking. Had a piece of sheet metal fall in the car. So we're getting ready to do some patchwork whenever we can get to do that. Anyway, something shiny happened. So now that I know these are good, I'm going to double check them just to make sure they're around 58-ish, 60 foot-pounds. Just double checking myself, because like I say, you go in an order, and I'm pretty sure I forgot that one to reset. I forgot to hit that little M button to reset it. That's my fault. But put it up to a higher rating, okay? I'm actually going to bump it down to 60 now that I know where most of these are setting. So if I hit 60, it'll go crazy, right? So that'll wrap up the torque on your 5.3 6-liter, your LS style head. Don't forget to torque these to 22 foot-pounds. You'll be golden, pony boy. All right, hopefully that helps some of you guys out. I had to dig on the internet for it, and like I said, I ended up watching the Sloppy Mechanics, and I said, man, I just can't do that. I'm too nervous of a Nelly for that. So, you know, anyway, guys, I hope this helps you. I appreciate every one of you watching, and stay around, because it's going to get even more gooder, especially whenever that gets in the old mullet machine. We're going to have some fun. So I appreciate all you have you watching. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next time here on Right Turn Garage TV.